the door.
Welcome to the Vermont Dog Trainer Show, your common sense, down-to-earth advisor on all things dog training. Here's your host, Ian Grant.
So what week are you in?
I think I'm in week 10.
Okay.
I was reviewing all the food stuff and
Yep.
I mean, for the most part, like when we give River anything like as far as food, like treat wise, we don't really give him like, we're not the type of people to give him like, oh, we didn't eat this, like our leftover type of thing. We don't do that, or we
Table
don't
scrap stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Personally, we don't do that. But like I'll give him vegetables and fruits. He's not a big fruit eater, but he'll eat vegetables like crazy. And sometimes we'll give him like if we have steak or chicken, we might give him a little bit of that. But for the most part, like, and then when we feed him, he's really well behaved and all that stuff.
Okay.
As far as food, I think he likes it, and we tried a few different ones once he got out of his puppy stage, and I went to the vet a couple weeks ago, and the vet tech was asking what we feed him, and I was telling him, and then she's like, "Oh, what did she say? Something like, oh, your mom really spoils you with the food," or something like. She had to make a comment because we feed him like. Well, I don't know, fancy food, nice food, like, because we feed him, like, we get him Ollie for wet food, and then we get him, like, Sundays for dogs, like, the freeze-dried food. It's just good food,
Yeah.
And so she said it, like, twice, and it kind of pissed me off.
You're like, I'm doing the best thing I can over here.
Like,
wow.
Why is that a problem? Because, I mean, I don't judge people whether they give them Purina or if they give them...
I don't either.
It's just like, why do that? So we choose to give them that type of food, and I don't see the problem.
Yeah. The way I looked at it too, I remember early in my career, somebody would pick up like kibbles and bits in the grocery store, and I see them go through the checkout aisle, and I'd be like, man, why are they doing that? That's such crappy food.
Yeah.
But at least they are feeding their dog and they're not starving it. And no, it's not the best thing in the world, but maybe that's all they can afford right now too.
That's right. Yeah.
It just is. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I find I had to like, this is what I tend to do. My husband's like, why'd you do that? But like, I tend to justify it. Like, oh, we don't have any kids and I can spend, whatever. But why should I have to justify that anyway? I mean, so silly.
You don't have to.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. It's amazing how much nutrition has changed though for dogs. I mean, I can only imagine what was in the food when I was a kid, let alone, generations before me. So, I mean, it's all for the better.
Yeah, for sure. And we had been talking about even making his, because we like to give him wet and dry. We give him both. And we were talking about even making something for him, like homemade instead of getting that Ollie, like the wet food.
Yeah.
I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I know I have a handful of clients that literally batch it for the month and then, freeze it. I mean, if you have the freezer space for it, then you can do it. And I think in the long run, it might be a little bit cheaper. Obviously, you're just putting your time into it and everything.
Yeah,
but
right.
Just with anything, it's all about, convenience of scooping something out of the bag or thawing something out or whatever. But I mean, he's on a pretty good food. I think you're doing just fine.
Yeah. I mean, he's good too. We try not, we give him treats and stuff, but it's good stuff. It's just like freeze-dried salmon or freeze-dried, like there's a local place around here because of the whitefish in the lake. Like, it's all good stuff. I mean, that's how I believe it. And like I said, if other people give him milk bones every day, I mean, I wouldn't, but that's okay. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So 2 questions. We were just at the store and I saw the bone marrow, frozen bone marrow. And I don't, does it have to be cut in half?
You mean like the long ways? So it's like 2.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than it just being like the hollow or not hollow, but a full marrow bone with like stuff in the middle.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think to me, it doesn't have to be cut in half. I think it'll probably keep them longer if it's actually still intact with the marrow on the inside.
I'll have to get those. Yeah. Cause they were really nice, like stuff. And I couldn't remember if we should or shouldn't. And then, so I'll get them next time.
Yeah,
Um,
to me, I think that would last longer for the dog. It's more exciting to chew on. They're gonna lick and lick and lick and lick and yeah, I think you get more bang for your buck that way rather than if they're sawed in half and they're just gonna clean that out like a trough
yeah.
and then be done with it.
Okay. And you said
Yeah.
you give him to him outside and he stays with it outside. And then when they come in, do you like wipe off their face or anything? We don't really give them
Depends on
anything.
if you have like a big licker of a dog,
Hmm.
and invading your personal space and that kind of thing. Typically, my dogs just go for the water dish
Yeah.
after because they want some more hydration, and then when they drink it, they've kind of gone through it. I take the water dish, go wash it out, soap and water, and fresh bowl of water again.
Okay. And do your dogs eat like the whole thing in one go?
If it's like a summer day and I'm outside for a long time, then they very well may be, Um, like this time of year, May would not be out there that long. She's a Frenchie with short hair. She's like,
Yeah,
I can't get
true.
my feet wet. I don't even want to be outside.
Yeah.
My other two would probably just lie right there. I mean, we got some snow this week. Um,
What?
yeah, yeah, we woke up Monday morning to like, I don't know, a couple inches.
No way.
Cars were covered. The higher peaks right now, elevations still have it, but like where I'm at right now, there isn't any outside.
Wait, so I mean, I we haven't gone to Vermont yet. But yeah, somewhere where I definitely want to go. So you
Yeah.
guys, there's like higher, like bigger hills. Like how high is that elevation?
Well, so Mount Mansfield is the tallest peak. It's about 4,600 feet above sea level, and there's covered up there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're at
Oh,
like
cool.
7 or 800, and we got a dusting.
Yeah,
So,
technically where we are, or even down where I grew up in Chicago, that's technically like 600 feet. Isn't that
huh,
strange? Yeah.
interesting.
But
Yeah,
anyways, today is like I know it's gonna get cold soon, but today was like gonna supposed to be like 60 something.
yeah, we're supposed to be almost 80 on Thursday.
Oh my God, yeah, right.
So we go from 2 inches of snow on Monday to almost 80 degrees on Thursday.
I mean, and don't you remember when you were a kid? Halloween was freaking cold.
I
I
remember
remember.
trick-or-treating in the snow.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Good times.
So wait, one more question about the food.
Yeah,
We got that box of what's it called? The one you talk about in your Instagram. The
the real
real
dog box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And we really wanted the trachea, and I guess my husband ordered it. He didn't realize it had the cow ear and the rabbit ear, and it's covered in fur.
Oh yeah.
What, they eat that?
Yeah, it's super good for him.
The fur?
Yeah.
I think they would like
Yeah.
choke on it. So he like literally
No.
eats the fur?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Chrissy, think about it for a second. If a fox kills a rabbit in the wild, is he gonna skin the fur off in order to
He
eat
should.
the? He should. That's it,
No,
his
okay, I
job.
understand.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
gonna
So,
paw
yeah. Yeah. He's just gonna pick at it, right?
it.
Saw it off with his tooth a little bit, open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they
No.
uh one of the boxes I had received had rabbit's feet in it.
I
And it
think
was
we have
still,
rabbits. Is it rabbit's ear? I don't even remember.
I
Okay.
don't know.
So it could be
Yes.
rabbit's foot. So he'll just
Yeah.
eat that up. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good for them. Um I don't know exactly all of the ins and outs, the
That's okay.
nutritional
Yeah.
values, but I think I'm just going to do a quick search here because I think on the website, I think they give a breakdown of like each protein that they provide. Yeah, it's going to be deeper than what I thought. But
That's
they actually talk about why the fur is so good for them.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool then. And
Yep.
is that something all those things should be eaten outside too? I mean, like
I
probably.
sometimes put those right in my dog's food, like the smaller
Yeah.
things. Like if it's like a rabbit's foot, I'd put it right into their food and take away some of the food that I would normally give them because they're
Okay.
getting the rabbit's foot.
Okay.
Um, there's been pork loin in some of it, so I might give that like the stuff that's not going to like like the cow's ear is really going to scrape their teeth, get the plaque, get the tartar, and that kind of thing off. So that's going to be separate for from a meal for my
Okay.
dogs. But like sometimes you'll get little packages of smelt, little fish.
Mm-hmm.
And so I might just put that in their food because I'm not just going to give them one fish at a time for like a treat.
Yeah, yeah.
Just so that's the way that I look at that.
Okay.
Um, like this, there's, bison spleen and all that kind of stuff that you
Oh,
can
wow. Okay.
you can
And
add
they
in.
like they rotate that in?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
yeah. There's like if you follow their Instagram, they'll tell you like this is box 117 or whatever, and this is what it's going to be
Oh,
based
okay.
on unless you have when you created your profile have put down that there's allergies for your dog,
Yeah, right.
and then they don't include any of that stuff. But
Okay.
yeah,
And the bigger things like the cow ear or whatever, or even the turkey trachea, do you take away some of their food when you give it to them that day?
all depends on the activity level. I mean, sometimes I have and sometimes I haven't. It just kind of depends on. It's nothing I've really kept track of.
Hmm.
To be like, oh, they're getting this today, so I'm going to minus that. If it's going into their food, I may take a little bit away, but
Okay.
oftentimes it's not such a substantial amount of additional stuff I'm putting into their food that I feel like I have to take away some,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know. But like the cows here, they can eat inside, um,
Okay.
and the other things. It's just obviously the raw marrow.
Yeah, right, right. Okay.
A raw bone that's got chunks of meat and fat hanging off of it. That's got to be outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just thinking of like random questions. The bone marrow that you give them, it's not frozen when you give it to them. It's thawed out.
I've given it to them frozen before, especially in the summer when it's hot, hot.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I would do with those is get home as soon as I get them home, because where we get them in our meat section, they're not frozen then.
Hmm.
And so if I get those home and I don't give it to them right away, then I put it in the freezer. So I know it'll last longer outside. So it just gives me a little bit more
Okay.
to give
All
them,
right.
provide them more time with it.
Yeah.
But there's
Okay.
nothing wrong with like coming home and going here, buddy, and outside and have at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We've noticed lately, and I don't know why, River seems to be like more hungry. I mean, I know dogs would eat whatever, but it
Yeah.
just seems like he'll be going back to his like little snuffle mat or going back to his plate, like looking for more food. I mean, he's not like begging or anything like that, but I just
Yeah.
thought, um, is that like
Did
normal
did
or
you recently change foods on him?
no? Mm-mm.
So this has been the same for a while.
Mhm. Yeah.
Activity level changed at all?
No.
That's about the
No.
same.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I'm asking for this is because there are some like raw foods that may not fill them up or provide them everything than a previous food. So that's why I asked that question. Obviously, activity levels burning more calories, they need more fuel to uh,
Right.
you know,
I mean, I don't think so. Like I said, sometimes he goes to the beach and will run around or he runs around a lot, but I don't know if it's that much more so. I mean, I know we were giving him
I mean
the olive.
the other part of it too is it's getting colder around where you are too, right?
Yeah, that's
So
what we thought. Do they get
yeah.
hungrier in the cold?
Well, and depending on how much time outside that he's spending, it takes calories to keep warm.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So that might have something to do with it. But um, when was the last time he was at the vet? Do you know?
He just got his vaccines like a couple weeks ago.
Did they weigh him then?
Yeah, he's right where he always is, like 23 and
Okay, okay,
a
good.
half. So,
Um, so you're right there then. So then this is more. Just keep an eye on it for the next week, Christy, and let's kind of see what happens if it maintains or if it subsides. But
I mean, it's been like this for at least a few weeks, I think.
hmm,
Yeah, probably even over, maybe even a month or more.
and poops are normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
Is
don't know.
it is it always you feeding him or the other people in the house feeding him?
Yeah, my husband will feed him.
And you will feed him, or is it just your
Yeah.
husband?
No, it's both of us.
Okay. I would just have a quick chat and make sure that you're giving him the same amount.
We are, yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
good.
because it's like a quarter of, for the Ollie, it's like a quarter. We always give him a quarter, and then like the other one, we measure out like how many grams? 20 grams. So it might be 21 grams, but it's like what, another tiny bit. It could be
Yeah.
a gram more. So no, we
Yeah.
usually.
So I would say this, why don't you, for the next couple of weeks, just add a little bit extra to his food?
Okay.
At least that way, if he gains a little weight, it's not the end of the world, but we're not
Yeah.
adding so much on that he's like really eating.
Hmm.
Uh, and let's see if that helps him, you know, get a little bit more comfortable,
Yeah.
or if he maintains that behavior.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
that. And then I mean, we're gonna try to start giving him more of these chews, like what you say, like two or three a week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it all depends on what you get sent and what's available too,
Yeah, right.
but like, yeah, because that could be something that you give to him, like almost like a dessert. He eats his meal and you just put the last thing in his bowl at the end.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
can do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Cool. All right, Miss Tally.
Hello.
How are
Sorry,
you?
I've missed like a few times. My schedule has been all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, and so I only caught the tail end of what Christy was saying, but Maya's gaining weight, and I don't know if she's
Oh,
gaining too much weight. Well, she looks good, but like I took her 3 weeks ago to get groomed.
okay.
And then I had a picture of her that my mom saw yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, is she gaining weight?" And I was like, "No." And then I asked them to put her on the scale when I took her to get her nails trimmed today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she gained like a pound from 3 weeks ago. So she's up to like 12, but to me, she looks healthy and good.
Okay.
And they also at the grooming place, they thought that she looked normal, like she doesn't look overweight or
Perfect.
anything. And I
Yeah.
have to remember when I got her, she was scrawny and she was
Yeah.
underweight. But like, so now I'm worried because I'm like, I feel like I'm feeding her less because when she had gained weight, when I had taken her to the groomer, I was like, oh, is this too much weight? And so I'm trying to give less treats and things. But
Yep.
obviously, while I'm training, there's some treats involved.
Sure.
Um, but, and I forgot to post this to you. We have eliminated the slow feeder. She is doing regular, and it is like, she kind
Hey.
of looked at me like, really? Like you waited so long? Like it has been totally like she did not miss a beat. She still takes some of the food
Wow.
out, puts it a few pieces down, eats it all.
Yep.
Um, so I feel really excited about that progress because
That's amazing. I'm
it
gonna
is
share that
amazing.
on my Instagram. I'll repost that my reel on the slow feeder, and I'm just gonna we have eliminated the slow feeder because
Yeah,
I
because I
can't I don't I
really
mean that thing has gotten so much traction. I had no idea it was gonna get uh that much. So as of today, over 700,000 views.
wow.
And there's people commenting about, well, why should we get rid of it or something, I'm like, they're not bad. And it's not that you have to get rid of it. It's just, I think you're missing an opportunity to help your dog work through something. That's all.
Yeah, and clearly, I mean, this dog has worked through so many things, right? Like we got
Yeah.
past the crate issues, we've gotten past the slow feeder. She's still working on the overexcitement when I come back, but it's getting less, like the timing is getting less
Yes.
of like her
Yes.
recovery. Um, so that is good. It's still happening, but I'm still doing all the things. I'm ignoring her. I take a step towards her. I'm just ignoring her. And so her timing is slowing. Like she's just not having as much time where she's
Great.
like going a little crazy.
And I love that you recognize that too, Tally, because a lot of people would look at that and go, well, because I've addressed it, her behavior should shut off completely. And it just
Right.
doesn't work that way.
And I also realized I have to check myself to make sure she should be excited to see me. I'm excited to see her.
Yes.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
her to be neutral when I walk in the door.
No, nope, I
I'm
agree.
excited that she's excited. I just need her to just not be so jumpy. But she's still jumping, but it is less. And also the entire time of her excitement is getting more normal. What I
Yeah.
would say seems normal. Um,
So So when we talk about, so one thing that you just said you're aware of is that it's a shorter amount of time. So the other thing I want you to be aware of is that if she jumps and you take that nice gentle step into her to back her up, what you're looking for when she jumps is a hesitation from her. So it
Mhm.
may look like her front legs are just kind of bouncing for a second.
Right.
Have you noticed that with her at all?
Yeah, a little, not always. It's
Yeah.
inconsistent, but it has happened. So,
Yes. So
and
that's
I'm
her
just kind of
hesitating.
ignoring her when it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That to me, when we're talking specifically about a dog jumping, when I step into them to teach them I don't want that, and they start to hesitate or they kind of bounce a couple of times, that's when I know I'm taking up space in their head. They're thinking about, do I want to do this? Because I have a feeling there's going to be a repercussion if I do. And then some dogs go, the heck with it, I'll try it anyways. And that just gives us a chance to reinforce what we want in that
Mhm.
moment. If another dog hesitates, bounces a couple of times, and then stays on all fours, you're like, heck yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So that's another way that you can tell if you're making progress.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I'm part of the problem, right? Because like sometimes I'm still taking the step forward, but then stepping back to like I'm really working on slowing myself down. I've been trying to work on it since I started this program because
Yeah.
that's me and I don't want to teach her my problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am working on that. So that is better. And then still like the whole leash thing inside here. I haven't sent you a video yet because I'm having trouble finding a good spot to set the camera so that
Okay.
I can like video it because I live alone. So, or with
Yeah.
Maya.
Yeah.
But like some days she's still running under the bed, but then like today she let me put it on and then she
Great.
did it 1.5 times. We got to walk like 1.5 times, and then she was just over it and just sat there like this.
Yeah. So what, okay. So
And
what do
I
you think
thought I
that
could
is?
outweigh her, and it just became too long.
All right. So when you address something of your dog and it's a pattern that you want to break, or sometimes even a pattern that you want to create,
Hmm.
you are going to get that head turned away. I'm not looking at you. I'm in avoidance
Yep.
mode. So the important thing with avoidance, you probably heard me say it before. We don't have to do anything about it specifically other than recognize it and realize that it's a step in the process to acceptance.
Hmm.
That's the big thing. So in that moment, if she's looking away from you, if her head is turned and she comes back for a second and then looks away, I would start moving again
Hmm.
because I want to signify to her that I saw that you just kind of looked back and checked in. Even like she doesn't have to stare at you lovingly in your eyes,
Right.
you know,
Just a glance.
a glance or even a look in your direction. If you're up here, right, and she just kind of turns and looks to the left, fine, I'll take that. I'm totally cool with
Yeah.
that.
And it's weird. So since I've been struggling indoors with the leash thing, when I'm outside doing walking with her, I'm trying to do some of that too, like mentally, like where I'm walking. She's very much about the sniffing and not moving,
Yeah,
but I'm trying to get that going too. But she's more likely to start glancing in my way when we're with the harness in the leash.
yeah,
So I don't know. I'm determined. I'm going to keep working on it.
yeah, for sure. Because it's even if you just end up doing it through your house, Tally, let's say, at least it's a hurdle that you can get over with her that she's like, okay, mom showed me how to get through this.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like she's already overcome like the garbage can thing, the elevator, like, and even
Yeah,
there's been some really wild dogs in the building, even coming off or on the elevator when we're going the opposite way. And before she would have just like freaked out. And now she just looks at them and she kind of gets like that aggressive stance, but she's like not even the size of their head a lot of the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Um, but she's not backing down like she used to. She's not cowering anymore. She's
Okay,
not advancing towards them, but she's kind of just
good.
like standing her ground. So I've just been paying attention to it. And a lot of the dogs she sees now outside or people, now she seems more interested, but she'll like go right up to them. But as soon as they want to engage with her, she's like, forget it, I'm out. But it's a lot more than she did before, where she used to run
Okay,
behind my legs and hide.
yeah.
So
So
I
all
don't
I
know.
would say is in that context, we want to keep her neutral.
Hmm.
So when she's next to you, that's great. If she starts to advance forward, that's when I would stop it because we don't want that muscle, if you will, to get stronger
Right.
of being forward.
Yeah.
So we don't want her to turn into, oh, there's a dog and I got to get up and I got to start moving towards them.
Yeah. And so I think I told you this before, maybe not. She doesn't chase anything. And there's all these rabbits, squirrels, birds, everything. And she's like, for the most part, she's been completely uninterested. But 3 days ago, she saw this rabbit and we see them all the time, but she usually just notices them and she's like, whatever.
Okay.
But she started advancing towards it slowly, like kind of like creeping, and I was like, Maya, leave the rabbit
Did
alone.
she go into stock mode, like her belly low?
No, she was in her regular mode, but just moving like extra slow. And she always has
Okay.
this thing where just one of her paws is up in the front, like she comes to a
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
Um, but then she gave a friendly bark at the rabbit, which I've
Oh,
never, she's such a quiet dog. She gave a friendly bark and then the rabbit ran away. And then I said,
yeah.
okay, we're going to go now. He doesn't want to play. And then she turned around and was fine. But I was like,
Huh?
oh no, is she going to start barking now, like at everything? But it was a friendly bark. It wasn't an aggressive bark
What made you think that it was a friendly bark?
because it's kind of like that bark where she's just like roof. Like it literally sounded like
Yeah.
roof versus like roof, like or just
Yeah.
more like aggressive. And her
Yeah.
tail was wagging, but she wasn't advancing toward like she had stopped. It was kind I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't
remember,
know.
tail wag doesn't always mean happy.
Right. But her ears were like in the normal neutral position. They weren't
Yeah.
like in the like
Good
because
for
what
you
she
for recognizing all the body language to go along with
her
it.
ears are crazy because like they're the kind that stick up like this, but
Yeah.
sometimes they do this and
Yes.
sometimes they do this and then like
Yep.
back. And
Yep.
so, and sometimes all three of those can be with her tail wagging. Um,
Yes.
I've seen it with all of those. So I'm trying to pay attention to like her vibe
Okay.
because
So the
now I'm
next thing
working
I
on,
want you to look for in all this is I want you to watch her breathing because some dogs will actually hold their breath
okay.
because they're like, and then they're ready to,
Yeah, I've heard her
yeah.
make a weird noise sometimes, but then I'm not always sure if it's like if I'm outside, I can't always tell if it's her. But now that you say that,
Yeah. Yeah. So
I've heard that.
watch her breathing, and then I want you to watch her mouth. If you see like a lick of the lips, if you see the yawn, if she opens the mouth and pants, that kind of thing. And then, like, once you gather that information, then we'll chat about it again.
Okay.
Or if you have your phone, you pull your phone out, leash in one hand, phone in the other, pointed at her. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I try. She's so she is funny, and I do notice. I never see her lick her lips, but I do see her open it a little bit, like just like
Uh-huh.
open a little bit. And I've definitely seen her panting sometimes. And I always, my first thought is like, is it hot out? Is she overheated? Like that's always
Yeah.
my first thought when she's panting, but I don't think
Yeah.
that's it.
See, that's the Texas person in you that says that, right?
Well, because I'm overheated all the time here, so it's hard to know.
Us up in the north, our dogs open their mouth and we're like, huh, what's going on over here?
Yeah, well, and I'm curious because it started getting very windy. So we've been having like 22-mile-an-hour winds these last few days. She does
Wow.
not like the wind.
Huh.
And I don't know how that's going to fly because we're going into tornado season soon enough, like and
Yeah.
that it's not going the wind's not going to come down. It's very windy here.
So
So
what's play like with her right now for you inside? You guys able to get playful with each other?
oh, we've been playing. Yeah, she's been doing the thing where she likes me to chase her, like I have to engage. It's like hide and seek with her, but
Yeah.
not really because I always know where she is. Um,
Yeah.
she has been playing also with lamb chop more, and then the little one, I put it inside her crate, and
Okay.
I don't always see her take it out, but it's been out in like the toys are all
Yeah.
moved around. Sometimes I
Yeah.
can hear her in the other room when I'm working, but when I am around, I try to like do what you said, like get on the other side of what she is, and I'll get onto the ground so I'm like lower,
Yeah.
and I try to like pull and tug a little bit with her.
So if she gets a little worried about storms, Tally, start playing with her.
Okay.
Okay. Just to help her through that. If she gets a little worried or nervous, because you don't want that to start to get stronger either, where she's super
Yeah,
like
she's been doing
upset
so
about
good.
it. Yeah. Yeah. You got a good streak going here that we want to keep keep moving
I just
along.
got to figure out the leash thing with her.
Yeah. Yeah. Get like 3 or 4 books and set them on a table and put your phone up against them
Hmm.
if you can,
Yeah, maybe I'll figure it out.
or even on the floor.
Yeah, might have to be on the floor because that's the other thing. She's so low to the ground, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's totally fine. Just put them right on the floor or put the phone up against the front door.
Hmm.
Do you have like a 20-foot span straight shot from when you walk in the front door or no?
No, but that's like the longest section I have in
Yeah.
here that I could do.
Yeah. See, base it on her steps. Don't base it on your steps.
Okay.
So for us, 20 feet is, several paces. To her, that's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So base it on her steps. Don't base it on yours when you record it. So I would totally lean the phone up against the bottom of the door on the floor,
Okay.
facing you, and then just do it right there, back and forth a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try that.
Yeah, that would be
Thank you.
good. You're welcome. Um, Tiffany, I don't know if you're free yet or not. I will turn on the camera when I'm able. Oh, she's not, probably. Okay. Christy, back to you then. Do you have anything that you want to add?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's this the same old stuff with River barking. Um, so so I was sick for like a
Yeah.
week, 10
Yeah.
days, yeah. And so he was my husband's working, I couldn't go outside. So he was, chilling with me for, the whole time, didn't get a
Yeah.
lot of exercise. This doesn't really matter, but the point was that I was sick.
No, but that I want you to understand that does matter.
No, I okay.
But just in the
Yeah,
it
I agree.
it just gives me information. So it's
Yeah.
not that it is the 100% reason. But
No.
I just had a friend message me this week who she went from working full time or part time to full time, and now the dog is pacing the house, and her husband works from home. The dog never did before. Like so,
Okay.
sometimes those small that we think are small, they can be a piece of the puzzle
Right.
to
Okay.
other things. So
Yeah,
that
it could very well be.
yeah,
So, yeah, he wasn't getting a lot of exercise. I was on the couch. I wasn't moving.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
like on the weekend that I was sick, my husband did obviously take him out, go for a walk, play on the beach and
Okay.
stuff like that. But anyways, so the thing was is that, um, like let's say at dinner time, I would go into the bathroom and blow my nose. And when he would hear me blow my nose or even talk from the bathroom, he would come running and start barking.
At
And
you?
just in this, and not necessarily at me, but he heard me, and so he came running because he thought it was something. I don't know, because I could see him a few times when I started blowing my nose. He looked at me like, "What the hell?" Because since we've had him, I don't think we've been sick, So like he's
Yeah.
never seen me blow my nose. Obviously it's a little loud, but it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's
But
just
I
a
think,
different noise to a dog.
yeah, right. So I think it was
Yeah.
just the noise, and so I don't know if you remember our kitchen's like over here, our front door is there, and then we have a little powder room near the front door, and that's where I
Okay.
was. And so he
Okay.
was in the kitchen, he heard me, and he came running to bark. So like that's one instance. Or like if I, or let's say if I just walked away, let's say if my husband and him were in the kitchen, and I went into the laundry room, same type of like area, and I started talking, he would come running and start barking again. Or the same thing with my husband. Or if I was upstairs and they were downstairs and I would like call out or just say something, he would start barking. Like any type of noise, he's just been barking at. And it's just been like, it's literally, we were just like, I don't even know what to do. And I'm trying to think if there was another instance. It was just like,
So
oh yeah,
this is picked up or increased recently?
yeah, like, well, this was the thing. I don't, yeah. So my family was here. I don't know if you remember, like a few weeks ago. And then right after they left is when I got sick. And usually right after my family leaves, he's like, yeah, I don't know if he's a little wound up. I know it's a lot for him.
Yeah.
And he does act a little different, but then he'll like slowly get to normal. But then I was sick. I mean, it could all have to do with it. But like, yeah, because when my family was here, it was just like if someone's walking up to the door, I think I was telling you, it doesn't matter who. He knows it's my sister walking up to the door, he'll just start barking at her. And, I mean, he is excited, but I think it's almost like a who is this type of bark, or like,
Yeah.
he's so much that way. And like the other day I got up and I will say ran. I didn't like wasn't like crazy running, but like I just very hurried like hurried walk to do something and he got up and started barking like there was something wrong. And I know he's sensitive, but like all of these things, my husband and I are like, it's just a lot. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't do.
Yeah. And so when your family was there, he is it safe to say that he felt like he was either on patrol or on edge with everybody around, or was he perfectly relaxed?
Probably more on patrol. I mean, there
Yeah.
were instances, like I said, like if my brother-in-law or one of us were sitting on the couch, he would come relax. But again, if he heard something, sorry, he would get up and start barking. It didn't matter. So yeah, I think probably more on patrol. And I think he's not necessarily an anxious dog, but I think when there's a lot going on, he gets more anxious. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
when you're sensitive, I'm sensitive, and if there's a lot of stimulation, I get anxious, or a little
Yeah.
overwhelmed, I guess you could say, not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just how he is, and I mean,
So safe to say you were anxious when family was there?
I was
Yeah.
one of the words I would use, anxious.
We'll just keep it fair and subtle for right now. Anxious. Okay.
Anxious,
And
annoyed, yeah. No.
yeah. So then we
Overwhelmed, it
go,
is it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming for me sometimes.
yeah. So then we go from the overwhelming to then you being sick, which is not surprising because you are overwhelmed and that's a lot of like pressure,
Yeah.
and your body needs to recover from that. And then it's led you back to where you are now. So I'm not, and see that. So this is why I said that's important information, Christy, is because you, you haven't, so they were there a few weeks ago, right? You said,
Hmm.
and then you got sick for a week, week and a half.
Hmm.
So you're looking at almost a month of things being wonky,
Yeah, it's true.
out of routine, which also another piece of this puzzle is you talking about how it appears that he looks hungry.
Yeah.
So I think this is all related.
Okay.
I really do.
He was feeling
So
more hungry, like even before my family came. It's been, I'd say at least a month or even longer,
longer. Okay.
yeah, but whatever, it doesn't
Well,
matter.
let me ask you this question. Did you notice he was doing the same thing while your family was there?
Wanting more food?
Yeah.
It's hard to say because there's a lot going on, and we had my sister's dog there as well. So you know what?
Okay.
I don't think so, only because there's just always so much going on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And did he play with your sister's dog?
Yeah, I was gonna post it too. They get along. This time I recorded him. I want to post it just to
Yeah.
get some feedback. The other dog, he just turned 9, so he's a little older. So
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think he wants to play as much, but they're friendly. They're totally friendly with each other. They've
Great.
never gotten into it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's backtrack now. The time that you're blowing your nose and he comes over and barks at you, what would you,
Mhm.
and I know you're not feeling well at that point, so you're not going to turn into like dog trainer mode and get everything accomplished that you want to. But
Yeah.
what was your reaction to that? Did you do anything about it? Did you let him figure it out?
Sometimes we just kind of in certain circumstances we just kind of like just let it go, or I'll tell him, okay, come on. Usually it happens when we're in the kitchen. Usually I'd be like, come on, Rafe, let's go in the kitchen, or like in the kitchen, or I'll just tell him, or either I'll ignore him or I'll be like, get in the kitchen, and he'll
Yeah.
come with me, and then he's fine. But or sometimes I don't know if I'll say like relax, or I won't like be like relax, it's not a thing, but I'll be like, Riv, it's fine.
Yeah. Would you ever try to send him away
Away to another room?
or just out of your space?
No, no.
See, so for me, that would have been like the first thing. Like, this isn't, I want, because of what you're saying in context with River, I want him to understand that this has nothing to do with his job, especially because of his history of barking at the door.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the big thing, my husband and I were talking about. He is such a sweet, good little boy. He's just a good dog. And the only thing is that I do, and we've talked about it before, like he takes on this role of needing to, be patrolled to make sure,
Yeah.
and I want to take that away from him. I don't want him to worry about it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So in order for him not to have to worry about it, what is it that you have to do to take that on?
I mean, I know in certain circumstances, like when we're walking, like, we've talked about getting between or doing those things, but at
Sure.
the house, I don't know. I've just been trying to do like the whole leash thing. And then like, that was kind of like the other question I had. It all has to do with his barking, but like, you were showing me the videos of to follow through. And like, I've done that
Uh,
and he doesn't like, I'll stand there and I'll be like, I'll go, "Shh," and he listens to me a lot of time, but he'll still bark. I'll be right on top of him. Well,
yeah.
close to him
Yeah.
and just do that over and over and he'll still bark.
Yeah. So in this context, I'll give you this example. So today I had a lesson with a couple whose dog, as soon as they would hug, he runs right over and he barks at the husband. So this can also create a wedge in the relationship too,
Yeah, it's huge,
because
right?
yeah, absolutely. So what we did, because this is what I'm picturing for you, is a version of this that I'll get into. So what I did is I put the dog on leash. So we're on like a dining room table, like an area rug, like on the corner of it, and they're 10 feet away in the kitchen. And so my first job is to keep him next to me so that they can hug. As crazy as this sounds, and this
Hmm.
happens more times than you think, by the way, too.
Yeah.
And so one of the first things he does? Rah, this huge and you can see him start to like shake and build up to it too, like physically start to build up to it. So in that moment, I'm just taking the leash and I'm just putting pressure on it, but I'm putting pressure up and towards me because I want him to kind of look up and kind of go like, ugh, to create that kind of that opposite reaction.
Mhm.
But it's my way of showing him that I disagree with that behavior. So in this context, this dog is the one that's telling everybody what's allowed and what isn't,
Yeah.
you know? Your guy, not that it's going to that degree, but he feels like he needs to go do something about it. Like I've never, and even the videos you show, you're not showing me a guy that's trying to take control of all these situations. But I feel like it's his job to go see what's going on and
Hmm.
that I have to bark at it or whatever. So we work our way through so that they can hug without him barking,
Yeah.
And they're even commenting about like, God, it's nice to actually hug my husband or wife without our dog barking at us. Like, this is peaceful.
Hmm.
We can do this. So I went to use the leash because the dog needed to feel something physically and it not just be our voice or our body language to go along with it.
Hmm.
So, which I think we've talked about before with him at the front door, right? Putting him on leash, directing him back over to where you want him to go. That's what I'm getting to when you say you want him to not have to worry about it. In order for him to say, I'm done doing this job, he needs to see somebody else going, hey, I'll take this job over.
Hmm.
And for us taking the job over would be telling him, I don't need you to do this job.
Right. Yeah.
That's the way that I look at that. I don't look at it like it's going to be you that has to go check all the windows and doors every 15 minutes.
Right.
You need to do rounds at your own house. But
Hmm.
anytime we say or our intention for our dog is to stop doing something, we either have to tell them what we want instead, or we have to create the rules and boundaries that say, nope, that's actually not your job.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, but how do I do that? I mean, I've done the whole, leash thing. I'll bring him into the kitchen and I'll sit him down and he'll have a
Yeah.
leash on him and he'll still bark. And I'll go over there. Sometimes I've taken it him. If he's starting to do again, I'll even
Yeah.
go around like the island in the kitchen and put him down, post him up and make him sit. And sometimes like he'll sit there with his leash on and still bark. And then I'm just like, I don't, and then I know you've told me to follow through, but I've done that and he doesn't matter. He'll still bark.
Yeah,
So I'm
so
just,
let's break this down into like one little context so I can help you through it, and then you can also ask questions according to this. Let's say you go to the bathroom and you blow your nose.
mm-hmm.
Okay. He comes running over, he looks at you and he barks. And I even want you to practice this later, Christy. Just make the sound the best that you can. So if he barks, I'm gonna go get the leash. I'm gonna put it on him. Okay. And with one hand, I'm gonna hold the leash with slack, and the other hand, I'm gonna pretend to blow my nose. And as soon as he barks, I'm gonna put a little pressure up on the leash
Okay.
so that he stops. And as soon as he stops, the pressure goes away on the leash. And then I'm going to start to blow my nose again. As soon as he barks, pressure goes back up on the leash. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. It's usually, like, let's say I did it. I blew my nose. He doesn't come over, look at me and bark. It's usually he'll hear the noise and then he'll bark, not necessarily at me. So like and then if I did it again, let's say, or if
Uh-huh.
like one of us was talking and he comes over or he starts barking and then I'm, he'll know it's one of us, then he'll stop. It's usually that initial, like, what is that? And it's been like all different, normal noises in the house. So like
Yeah.
once he knows what it is, he stops.
Yeah. So that's his sensitivity.
So like none of this we can't do anything.
No,
Like it's just
you can, but so to me, that is like if I was to hear, if I'm in your house and I came over for a lesson or whatever, right? And I've got my phone in my hand and we're sitting on the couch and chair across from each other. And
yeah.
I drop my phone and he goes, rah, 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 right? In that moment,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to approach him and
Okay.
maybe put him back on his bed where he was.
Mm-hmm.
I get that follow through. I go back to the couch. I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to drop my phone again in that moment.
Okay.
Okay. And he's going to go, rah, rah, rah. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to go over. I'm going to approach him. I'm going to put him back on the bed and I'm going to get my follow through.
Yeah.
And then
See,
from there, but so
yeah.
listen, so this is
Yeah,
where we
yeah.
have to look for like what Tally had mentioned as far as the progress is concerned. So when I go back and sit back down, when I drop my phone this time, I may get the rah. Perfect. Good. I hear a difference, but it's still not allowed. I get back up. I go over, I address him, I put him back on his bed. So I have to do this enough times that he understands that there's a pattern, but also so that I understand that there is a change in his intensity, a change in the forward movement, a change in how he reacts, that I have to slowly bring him back down off of it. And so momentarily, I may be getting a follow through in between each little drop.
Mm-hmm.
But the ultimate follow through is tomorrow when I walk into your house, I can walk over, sit down, I drop my phone, and he goes, huh? What was that? Nothing? Okay, guess I'm good. That's when I know we have the full follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to notice it because from what I've noticed, usually with him, I really try to pay attention to him and I notice patterns and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
usually, let's say you did that, you dropped your phone
Yep.
and he barked, and then you
Yep.
went over and did it again. I'm put like 90% he wouldn't bark again. He'd be like, oh, it's his phone again. He would know. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, or sometimes when the washing machine is going or, spinning, he'll start
Yeah.
barking and I'll come on, River, and I'll see it's a washer.
Yeah. So what's going through my head is I would practice this with like wooden spoons that you may drop on the floor that he hears,
Okay.
or a metal spoon or a fork, just
Yeah.
at random times, Christy. So
Okay.
so it gives you that ability to be like, hey, I don't know, we're good. There's nothing here that you need to worry about. And I have zero problem if you walk over and say that to him.
Say what to him?
There's no problem here. That was just a
Yeah, I
fork that I
usually do.
dropped.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like if one of us is talking and he'll like if I'm upstairs and I'm talking to my husband and he's like, who is that? He'll start barking. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, River, it's me. It's me, and then he's fine.
Yeah,
But it's
but that energy of River, it's me, it's me. I'd rather you go, it's not your job.
okay.
That's a shift in your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me, when I tell a dog it's not your job, it's not your job. I don't need you to do that. But saying it's me is more reassurance.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think I do both. I
Good.
either go
Okay.
like I either like because I'm pretty, like I'm pretty, what's the word? Stern, or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like I
Well,
don't, I'm
matter of
usually,
fact.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And he listens to me and stuff. So I guess
Yeah.
when I tell him like it's not your job, is that
Yeah.
like just saying no? Or what I mean, I don't know necessarily what to say to be like, because usually I'd be like, either I'll tell him to sit or I'm like, no, or like whatever. Usually I know it's important to give him something to do than to say no, but or give him,
Yeah. Because
I
it
just
gets
don't know.
exhausting just saying no to your dog all the time.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I just guess I
Yeah.
don't know what to say for him to realize it's not your job. Like just,
That's
like that
it.
type of thing. Or yeah,
Yeah. It's not your job.
yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
That's
The
it.
other day he was doing it. He was barking, and I was like, and then he'd bark, and every time he would bark, I was like, I mean, I was doing it like 10 times, and I'm like, I give up.
Okay. So that means then there wasn't follow through to the sound. So that's why
Um,
the sound doesn't work.
what would be the follow through though?
Move towards him.
I was literally 2 feet away from him
Right. And so he's barking out the window.
at that time. He was.
Yeah. So then I get in between him and the window
Okay,
and I move towards him.
got you.
Okay. Now I'm
Yeah.
not done yet. I move towards him to move away from the window far enough where I want him to be. And he sits down and he looks at me. And then I go, shh. And then I walk away because I want the shh sound to mean you're going to sit and be nice and calm in front of me.
Okay.
That's what I want. So
Yeah,
it
I can
creates
get.
that shift in his brain
Okay.
so that eventually, Christy, you're sitting down with your feet up on the table. He barks and you can go, shh, and he goes, yep, got it. And he turns his head and walks away.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
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 Super quick. I know we want to go into the other people, but like, we were talking about this last night. He barks, not just a quick bark, a crazy bark when there's dogs on the TV. I mean, it's intense. And
Yeah.
like yesterday, we'll put the leash on him and we'll have him sit next to us, and then he'll do his little, boofs, which is
Yeah.
obviously better. Um, we were saying like, what if we put on a movie, or I don't know, something, I'm sure we can find something that's just dogs. And if I were to play that for like an hour, do you think that's like a good thing? Or like, like every so often, is that a good thing, or is that like, don't do that type of thing?
Drain his energy first.
Okay.
And then I would only play it when his brain is chill. Play like 2 seconds of it for him to go, huh? What the heck? Rah. You might bark once or twice
Hmm.
and then just leave it on pause until his brain comes all the way back down to chill and then play it again.
Okay. So
So
it's
we
not
never
something,
go ahead with that. I know where you're
I was just
going.
gonna say, like, so it's not something good to like, we thought it would be good to, so he gets used to it. He's used to seeing dogs on the TV. Like,
I
would it,
mean, you could drown it out and just kind of have like something on a loop where it's just like this constant bark, but that would get annoying as all get out for you. And
it's more like
you
it
know,
could be on mute and he'll see the dog. Then he'll,
yeah. So pause it. So he
okay.
needs the freeze frame. Nothing's moving. He may bark at it, but it's not making anything change
Yeah.
on the screen. Wait for him to come back down, play it for a second, and then stop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Tiffany.
Good morning,
Morning.
afternoon. Sorry, I forget. Um, I have one quick question. Do you have a recommendation for books of dog nutrition that I can
Forever dog.
forever dog?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And did you see my comment on your posts?
I did. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'm just trying to slow her down. That's what my mentality is like. Slow down, dog. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, but so what part are you trying to slow down?
Okay, here's the real question.
Here it is.
Physically, everything is evident, right? Like I know when physically, like she's resigned, but she can look resigned physically, and her brain, like I've been practicing what you've been speaking to Talia about, to Tally, and sorry, and we're still rushing for the bowl. We're still eating it as fast as we can, and
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I
So
know when your
that,
brain
yeah,
slows
so
down?
that is not uncommon for puppies.
Okay,
So I'm going to give you a lifeline here. Okay.
thank you.
Okay. It's not uncommon for puppies because it wasn't that long ago they had to compete for their food.
Well, that makes sense. That makes
And
a lot
think
of sense.
and think about how long they had to compete for it since birth.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So it takes some time. All I would say, Tiffany, is just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to take
Okay.
some time because the urge with a puppy, in my opinion, is stronger than the urge with a dog that's a year and a half old. As far as I have to put some context to this because I don't I can just see people coming at me from all sorts of different directions. Um, I'm just looking at the instinctual urge itself, nothing environmental having to do with this. I think there's the urge because it's an instinctual drive for survival that they need to feed and that they have to compete, survival of the fit, right? And so I feel like that's the strongest when they're puppies
Mm,
compared to when they're a year old and they're getting their meals once or twice a day on a regular basis. I don't know if that instinctual urge is as strong, but then is also misconstrued as just straight up excitement
mm.
for the dog. You see, so I just keep at it. It takes some time with some puppies. It took me longer with Fitz than it did with any of my other dogs
Mm.
for him
Okay.
to slow down. And he's a happy-go-lucky kind of loves to move forward kind of guy.
Hmm. Okay.
You
Okay.
know?
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And I'll just
Um,
say great comments earlier today on nutrition. Thank you.
you're welcome. But I just want to make sure. So you saw my comment on your latest video, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, speed up because she doesn't know that I'm leading. That's
Yeah,
what I
and
read it as.
yeah. And so this is what made me, so two reasons I'm saying that. One, because I felt like you were taking it easy and you're learning too. So it's very common. Second, her head is just looking around left and right. So she doesn't have purpose to her walk forward.
Okay.
So if you go back and look at the video, you watch her head and she's just kind of doing like the looking around thing. So when we have intention to our walk, and we get the right mindset, there's less of that from our dog.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Great words.
You're welcome.
Intention and speed up.
Yes. Slow down, but speed up and also keep going.
All at the same time.
All at the same time. Yes. I used to play golf with a guy way back and he'd always tell you, hurry up, but take your time. It's okay. Hurry up, but take your time. It was the worst feeling to play golf with ever. Brutal.
Talk about anxiety. Woo!
Yes, absolutely. And I'm supposed to be relaxed when I take this shot? Like, no. Hurry up, but take your time. Yeah. All right. Tally, do you have anything else?
Yeah, this is just a random thing. Oh,
Okay.
Tiffany, I was just going to remind you, Maya's 3 too, so she's not a puppy. So her getting to the off the slow feeder faster might have something to do with her age, memory stuff
Yeah.
too. She's not a puppy. She looks like one because she's small, but she's not a puppy.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
Thank
I've
you.
noticed that Maya does this thing, and I can't figure it out. I don't think it's a bad thing, but she is a little bit attached to her dog bed. Again, the humping has come down drastically,
Okay.
drastically. I don't think it's gonna ever go away. I think it's like her little safety mechanism to some
Yeah.
degree. But she, like if I'm in either like the other bedroom or I'm getting ready for bed, I've noticed that several times she's like, I hear all this noise. I'm like, what is going on? And I see her trying to drag she's dragging her dog bed into the room where I am if I'm in there for a long time. Like she wants it to come along, like a blankie, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, I guess the psychology behind it, because it's not a bad thing. It's not in my way, but it's like and she won't necessarily, she'll bring it into those rooms, but she's not then going into it.
Huh.
But I don't know, like, I guess I'm just trying to figure it out. Is that like just like a security thing, or she wants her things with her, like when we're getting ready for bed, or
I think I actually thought you said you were gonna. I thought you were going to say she was bringing it into bed, into your bedroom with her.
no, I don't think. I mean, she's strong, but I don't know if she could haul it up to the bed. I mean, this thing is already like 3 times her size.
Yeah, yeah. I for sure think it's a security thing. As far as
Okay.
like, I want to bring it in there. I think mom's in there for a while. I'm going to bring this thing in with me so we can hang out in there.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to have a big hound mix. She was like 100 pounds. She would full on pick up a dog blanket in her mouth, walk over to where she'd want to lie down. She'd lie down. She'd set it between her two front feet, and then she'd set her chin on top of the blanket. Like that was, and it was
That
so
was
cool to see like the psychology behind that. And she never like snuggled up with it, like, rolled over and snuggled up with it, but it was just always the spot that she wanted to rest her chin.
yeah.
So
Oh,
so that's what I thought of when you started mentioning her, was like, I think that's kind of where that psychology is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, it's just interesting because she doesn't bring, the smaller things like the lamb chop, or there's even like a smaller thing or a really
Yeah.
tiny thing. Like she doesn't
Yeah.
bring those, but I know she still likes the dog bed. That's like her number one. Like
Yeah.
that's her thing. So I don't, yeah, it's just, I've just been like, because I'm doing the dog psychology stuff now. So I'm just like paying more
Yeah.
attention to all her
Good for you.
quirks and her, like, she's definitely, her personality is coming out a lot more.
Yep.
I mean, just that I've had her longer. And I noticed too, like when I first got her, I do let her sleep on my bed. But when she first came to live with me, she would be on the bed, but like in the furthest corner away from me, but she would be on the bed. And like, she's slowly been moving closer. And now she likes to sleep next to me, or she
Aw.
always ends up next to me, but she didn't used to before. So I feel like that's a good thing. Like she's
Yeah.
comfortable with me. Except for when she occasionally, like I said, goes under the bed or goes like hiding like in the
Yeah.
middle of the night. I don't know what
Yeah.
she's doing then.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
been
so
fun to be
it's
a part of her, like getting comfortable with you.
it is, and it's just like, I mean, I just want to know what goes on in her head.
Yeah. We all do.
It's fascinating. No, and it is really nice just to see like the progress that she's made. Like it's been,
Yep.
I think, because they say that like 333 things
Yeah.
with like rescues.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, I don't know, but like it seems true. Like we're already at 9 weeks and she is like night and day from
Hmm.
like when I first got in a positive way. So
Yeah.
it's just it's been a really nice journey. If
Yeah.
I could just
I
figure out the leash.
I think, the 333 thing, I think is more, it takes the 21 days to create a pattern,
Hmm.
but it may take them 3 days to figure out what that pattern is, you know?
Hmm.
So it's almost like, for me, it's like the 3 weeks, but to understand what the 3 days means, to then understand now why it's a 3 week thing, and then why it's a 3 month thing,
Hmm.
So I may have to do a post on that, about what
Yeah.
my personal
Yeah,
my
no, I mean,
personal
I think
views are
that, I
on
mean, I
that.
think it's true. And I think that's like the thing with the slow feeder. Like she finally, I believe that she understands now. She doesn't have to fight for food. She's getting fed twice a day. She's not hungry. She's not begging at other times. And now she just patiently waits. Like I should just take a picture. It's so cute because she just like sits there and waits like, oh, I know you're bringing my food, so I'm just going to wait here. She
Yeah,
doesn't go early. She just knows when it's time
yeah.
and then
You should look through the comments on that reel about the amount
yeah,
of
I
people
will.
that
I'll go
feel,
back.
well, about the amount of people that feel like it's a lab thing.
A lab thing?
Yeah, that it's, you can't slow down a lab when it comes to eating. But so here's the thing. So you mentioned it as you kind of like, you don't have to fight for your food anymore. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. So instead of us listing off the 4 or 5 things of why she doesn't need to do it anymore, all I'm saying is, I just need you to be chill before I feed you. I don't care about everything else that happened in your past, and you had your own routine back then.
Right.
But this is my routine for this ritual that we're going to practice twice a day.
Yeah. And I
You know?
remember when you told me that she just needs to like relax and not do her little dance and stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
because one day the light bulb came on that I noticed that she was just sitting patiently. Like when I was going to get the food, she just sat there and like patiently waited. And I
Yeah.
think too, like, it's like anything else, right? Like they just have to relearn we got to
Yes.
rewire the brain for a new pattern. And I remember thinking, oh my God, she's never going to, like, this is going to be a lifelong thing, right?
Yeah.
Like with that kind
Yeah.
of, like I said, the crate's never going to, like, just all these like steps. I just think, again, it comes back to us, like, and putting in the work and like really putting in the work. And I think that's the hard part for people because it is hard. Like, I don't know about Christy. I think you said something similar. I have trouble slowing myself down, like walking, talking, like moving sometimes. And I never thought about it before Maya moved in with me because I was
Yeah.
like just doing my thing. And now I find because she'll be more on high alert if I'm moving
Uh-huh.
quickly through the apartment versus if I'm just like slowly moving through the
So
apartment.
look, so the next time you take her outside, Tally, walk fast enough or walk slow enough that she's walking normally.
Okay.
Do
That's
you know
going to be
why?
hard because she's either trying to pull me, like walking too fast, or she's walking like a turtle because she's sniffing everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to get
But
her into
I'm but
like
I'm saying as soon as you walk out your apartment and go to the elevator,
Mhm. Oh, okay.
I'm saying walk slow enough so she's actually walking. So for those of us with small dogs, we just think they need to match our speed. When in reality, we're making them physically move quickly all the time.
Yeah.
And we're never saying, hey, I understand that you're constantly prancing and that you're not ever walking. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a big deal.
Yeah. I know. And she has such a cute little trot when she gets going. It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really
So
cute.
not saying it's a forever thing, but I want you to feel it because to you, you're going to feel like you're molasses.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's hard for me is keeping her in motion. And like, that's something I'm working on with her when we're outside because
Yeah.
she just wants to stop and smell everything. And sometimes it's very difficult to pull her away from that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
we
Okay.
keep working on it.
Record the leash handling stuff. So put it down up against the bottom of your door
Okay.
and
I
let's
will
see
do
it.
that.
So then we can tweak and discuss accordingly.
And then, so going forward after today, we're doing Sunday nights, not Thursday nights, right?
Yes, that is correct
It's
because of
7 your time.
yes, Eastern time.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Weeknights are just going to be psychotic for the next winter season, I think, pretty much with me coaching and my daughter playing and yeah. So
No, I get it. I get it. That's
yeah,
fine. I just want to
yeah.
make sure I adjust my calendar.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you for bringing it up because I forgot to mention that. Yeah. I've had to change it on my website and, because everybody's looking at it. So
Mhm.
yeah. Yep.
Cool. No,
Okay.
that's it for today. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. You good, Christy?
Yeah, I'm good. I just want to know, Tally, did you grow up in Texas?
Oh no, I'm from Cleveland. I grew up in
Okay,
Ohio.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I was telling my husband, I'm like, I think she's from the Midwest because I can hear that real
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what everyone says.
Like,
I have an accent, but
It's
like
that-
down here, everybody's got like the drawl.
Oh, I remember when I went to Texas when I was younger, and someone was like, "Oh, you're a Yankee, aren't you?" And I'm like, I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. Now I know.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Small
definitely,
world.
I'm not from Texas.
No, I didn't think
I
so.
just currently reside here. So,
All right, that's it. That's all.
All right. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you Sunday night, maybe.
yep.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you,
guys.
All
Ian.
right. See ya.
Bye.
Well, listen, baby. You can keep your pedigree family. This rescue dog is through with